Hi everyone, in this video I'll show you how to create the cool scrolling credits that you see at the end of movies using HitFilm Express. It's one of those things that seems like it may be a bit complicated, but it's actually straightforward enough once you've seen how to do it. So first of all, I'm going to show you the short movie I've created as an example. Bear with me, but it is only about 12 seconds long. Alright, so maybe no Oscars for this movie just yet, but those scrolling credits are what we're going to be creating. Now, before we start, I want to point something out with the credits, and that is that you should think of these items in 4 different parts. What do I mean? Okay, so as you can see, we have 3 different sections in the credits. We have video people, script writers, and restaurant staff. In HitFilm, each of these sections is known as an element, and you can have as many elements as you want. So in this movie, we have 3 elements. Secondly, video people, script writers, and restaurant staff are referred to as titles, and we can modify the font and font size as we wish. Thirdly, you can think of the part beneath the titles as 2 columns. In the left column, you have the role of the person, and role is how HitFilm refers to it. And in the right-hand column, you have the names, which correspond to the role. And sensibly enough, those are referred to as names in HitFilm. And again, we can modify the font and font size and some other things as we need to. So you have elements, titles, roles, and names. Okay, so let's show you how to do this. First of all, I'll create a new plane here. We'll keep the black background color. I'm just going to make it a little bigger though. Now we can either use the effects menu, or we can just search the effects panel for what we need. So let's use the effects panel and we'll search for credits. You should now see end credits crawl as one of the options. So just drag that effect onto your new plane and you should then see end credits crawl appear in your control tab right here. Let's just expand this window a little bit so we can see what's going on. So under text format, you can adjust the color, the font, and the font size of your titles, roles, and names. You can also force uppercase lettering for each of those as well. By default, the names are in capital letters, so if you don't like that, you can always turn that off. Under layout, you can change things like line height and horizontal spacing. You can also adjust the gap between the roles column and the names column if you want to. You can change the speed of the credits too, and this is where you also define how many elements you need to use. You remember we used 3 elements in the example, but by default it's set to 1. So for this demo, we're just going to change that to 2 elements. You can use the slider to do that, or just type it in. If you add too many elements by mistake, then just change the number to however many you want, and the highest numbered elements will be removed. Alright, so we have our 2 elements, which you can see here. Now we're just going to enter our information. So let's click on element 1. So you should be able to see that we now have the title, roles, and names that we can play with. First of all, we'll enter the title. So that could be something like lighting effects, for example. And then we have roles and names. We can just click on the letter A to enter our roles. Or if we already had something in there that we wanted to clear, we could just click on the X. We then get this little box appear. And this is why I said earlier to think of the roles and names as 2 columns. So what you enter in this box will appear in the left-hand column, and what we enter under names will be in the right-hand column. So let's imagine we have 3 lighting people. We have lighting supervisor, bulb checker, and lighting effects guy. And then we click on OK. Then the same for names. Click on the letter A and we get a similar little box appear. And then we'll enter the names which correspond to the roles. So our lighting supervisor is Lisa Simpson. Our bulb checker will be Ned Flanders. And our lighting effects guy will be Mr. Burns. So we need to enter them in that same order. And then we click on OK again. And that's our first element completed. So let's see what that looks like. Alright, not bad. Let's change a couple of things. I think the element title should be in a different font and probably should be bigger too. And I also want to change the color as well. So back up to text format under our end credits crawl, and we're going to select title, and we're going to change the font to something else. In the movie I showed you at the beginning, I used the ink-free font, which I quite like. You probably already have it on your system if you're using Windows, as it comes with Windows 10 and 11. Okay, and we'll change the size of the font too. We want to change the coloring as well, so let's do that too. We'll have this yellowy color, I think. Alright, so that should be better, but I also don't like the people's names appearing in uppercase, so I want to change that. We can do that by selecting names and then just turning off this checkbox here. Let's see what that looks like now. Okay, I think that's just a bit better than before. As I said earlier, there are lots of options to fine-tune the credits to get them looking the way you want, but you can obviously play around with those yourself. So that was our first element completed. We have a second element defined, so if we wanted to add something in there, we just repeat the process. Let's just add something quickly. We'll pretend we have a movie security team, so that's what our title will be. And then we just click on the letter A next to roles to enter the team members. So we'll have a security chief and a night watchman. And then we'll enter the names to correspond with those roles. So click on the A next to names and we can add those. Our security chief will be Chief Wiggum, and our night watchman will be Willie the groundskeeper. Okay, let's see what all that looks like. Well, maybe it's not quite yet perfect, but hopefully you get the idea. Once you've done it a couple of times, you'll easily remember how to do everything. Alright, that's about it. Clicking on the like and subscribe buttons would be much appreciated. But most of all, I hope you found the video useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.